Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. Iran is back. This, come here. Come on. Hey. Oh, yeah. Iran is back in the news because we're bombing them again. They're bombing us again, or they're bombing our bases. We're bombing them. They're bombing us. Mitch McConnell's maybe dead, maybe not. Graham Plattner's a rapist. What are you going to do? We cover Plattner on the Patreon. We get into it. We go in depth into the Plattner thing. And, he's gone and we'll never hear from him again. Oh, hold on. Everybody wanted him on, so we're bringing him on. This is his debut, and then we'll do the episode. But Albert is a British long-hair golden chinchilla cat. He's 3 months old. Is he in frame?
Yeah.
And he's a member of the Restore Britain Party. He wants to restore the sovereignty of Britain. Again, that's him, not me. He works with Rupert Lowe. But he's a cool cat. We dig him. All right. You want to? Yeah. All right. He's had enough. There he is. All right. Have fun. Don't chew the wires. Don't chew the wires. I really want to get into these flash mobs with these crazy psycho teenagers because they just ruined 4th of July in Newport Beach. I want you to get us some video of this because this is something I don't know how to solve this problem. But I have a few ideas that I'm thinking about because what a flash mob is, it's not like something fun where everybody shows up and dances. What is that? That's like a dance mob.
Yeah, that's a flash mob.
Right. And I think maybe people think that's what it is. They're like, oh, it might be fun. Everyone shows up and it's like we dance. That's not what is happening. There's large groups of kids. They coordinate this on social media. These kids are in high school for the most part, maybe college, but I think it's high school. And maybe there's older people involved. I don't know. I haven't been invited. But they show up to an area and there's fighting and they destroy property and they ruin a good time. And everybody films it because all these kids want to do is go viral. That's the only thing they have left. We've created a world where the only thing they have left is to say, I'm viral now. You see that guy getting stomped out in the middle of the street? I was part of that, or I was there. I saw that guy get killed on the beach. All these kids want to be part of something that blows up and goes viral. They don't think about the morality of it. They don't think about the legality of it, the consequences of it. They simply say to themselves, I've got a phone. I can film some crazy shit. And then I could tell my friends and people I know, look at me, I went viral. You saw it after the Knicks won. People were it was pandemonium. And local police, they came out on horseback in Newport Beach. They looked a little ridiculous. It's not their fault. It just looks weird when cops are on horses in a wealthy Southern California beach town. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't had if you're not fortunate enough to have encountered a flash mob yourself, let's take a look, because this is going to be the event of the summer. Let me call it now. The event of the summer is the teenage flash mob. That is going to be the big cultural trend of the summer. You know, it's going to be younger people that are bored. None of them are employed. Automation took their jobs, or immigrants are doing a lot of the jobs now at movie theaters and restaurants or whatever. Not hating, just telling you what's happening. And these lazy sociopaths that don't have anywhere to go and they don't have anything to do, they're like a marauding group of crazy people looking to go viral. They're armed with no sense of morality and a phone. Let's take a look at what that has done in Orange County.
Independence Day celebrations took a chaotic and dangerous turn in Newport Beach over the weekend. KTLA's Annie Rose Ramos joins us live with the details. Annie Rose, good morning.
Hey, Frank, good morning to you. Yeah, police arrested just over 400 people when all was said and done. And it wasn't just teenagers, it was adults as well. After thousands of people flooded this area here, officers responding to reports of fighting, illegal fireworks, even looting here at the grocery store you see behind me, prompting a massive law enforcement response.
Whoa.
Chaos in Newport Beach this 4th of July, all starting Saturday around 7 p.m., with reports coming in about large crowds.
Now, if you notice, stop it for a minute. So many people have their phones up. You see the phone light. This is guiding the entire thing. Everybody wants to film something going on and put it out on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, whatever. So you look at these crazy flash mobs and you see the phone lights up. People are like, we gotta get this on film. And are they even enjoying it? That's the question. Are they even having fun when they have a mob beating? Or, they're looting. Can you even enjoy the looting or the mob violence without the phone? That's right. Because to me, I say to myself, if I'm in a mob of people and we're brutally attacking someone, or I'm looting a grocery store, if I'm on my phone, I'm not in the moment. So I want to talk to all these kids right now who are on their phones during this. Be in the moment when someone's skull is being cracked or when you're grabbing a Snickers bar from a supermarket and running out. These are the memories you make as a young person in America. Don't be on your phone. But I fear that this entire activity is driven by the phone. Let's watch more of this, but keep in mind, all of those lights you see are people holding their phones up, zombies holding their phones up, filming all of this.
And fighting. By about an hour later at 8:25 p.m., riot police moved in. An unlawful assembly declared in the area of 26th Street and on the beach.
The Newport Beach Police Department, its entire area is closed.
By 10:50 p.m., all beaches in the city were closed, and officers were actively clearing traffic from the peninsula.
Never seen anything like this. Never seen. This year was the worst I've ever seen. Last year was kind of a little crazy, but this year, it was a riot.
In this video, you can see the crowds, but you might also be able to make out police on horseback there.
On horseback.
Charging into the crowds on the beach to break up violent revelers. Some 350 personnel from the Newport Beach Police Department, along with 17 other regional law enforcement agencies, ended up responding to what happened here. And an unknown number of officers suffered non-life-threatening injuries while trying to calm the crowd. This nearby pavilion store was also looted Saturday night, with store products ending up on the parking lot floor. Everything from watermelons to Pepsi destroyed.
All right, get it out of here. So what do we do? That's the real question, because you start saying to yourself, you don't want to have a draft, but, you start looking at the way the young people are behaving and you start saying to yourself, well, we got to find something for them to do. What is this, a female cop?
Yeah, this was in North Carolina.
And she's being taken down?
Yeah.
Let's watch this.
Carolina.
There's 3 or 4 teens taking the female cop down and just beating her.
During a 4th of July gathering of teens and young adults that descended into chaos. The video
I'll tell you right now. Here's the problem. Again, we've tolerated in our society a lot of freedom, meaning like when you're young, you get a good amount of freedom, like a lot of freedom, like arguably too much. Like your life is not as regimented as it maybe should be. Like, when we grew up, you had a lot of freedom, but there was no, there was no thought that you wouldn't get a job at one point, and you wanted to get a job when you were a teenager because you wanted responsibility, you wanted freedom. More than you wanted responsibility, you wanted money. You wanted to get a car. You wanted to drive the car around. You wanted to eventually move out of your parents' house. So all of these things meant that you had to have a job and you had to put a little money away. And I think a lot of people now, because our society, again, we have very high levels of freedom, and that's the beautiful thing about our society, but it's a difficult thing. It's a hard thing, right? Because everybody's free to do whatever they want. And the problem here is that when young people don't feel particularly invested in their future, they behave in the ways that you're seeing. I mean, young people are always stupid and they always do dumb shit. But these large mobs, while they're not new, they're not completely new. This has happened before. But they do seem to be growing, and the idea that you can film this and get clout, filming something like, I filmed the two girls beat that cop to the ground. So, we do have a situation where, you have a lot of aimless young teenagers. And here's what I'll say, and I know many of you have children, and you're all going, oh, but that's not my kid, my kid's really good. Most children in our country right now are sociopaths. Truly. Most of them are full-on sociopaths. They're nihilists. They were raised on the internet. They're digitally native. They've been exposed to extreme violence and porn, and also extremely violent porn. They are unfeeling, uncaring, just merchants of death. And I don't mean to upset people who love their children out there, because I know there's a lot of people out there that go, but not Tommy. Yes, Tom. They are unfeeling. They are blank slates. They are incredibly dangerous, and they need to be dealt with. And we need to realize the problem. We need to understand that we've created, and I say this not to be dramatic, your children, we've created an army of robotic, clout-chasing killing machines that are using every opportunity and every tool at their disposal to inflict pain on each other and society for clicks. That's what we've got. Let's not sugarcoat it. We don't have a bunch of young, hopeful people out there that are going to turn things around. We got a bunch of demonic, monstrous, black-eyed, nihilistic vampires, clout-chasing, running around, and we need to figure out something for them to do. And I'm not for the draft, and I'm not for just, but we need jobs for these fuckers to do. We've demonized in this country child labor, and it was the biggest mistake that we ever made. We demonized children working. What a fucking mistake. I'm not saying they all have to be in workhouses and with the gruel and all that, Oliver Twist, we know the thing. But by the way, is that the worst place for them to be? We've demonized. We're all cool with prison labor. We're all cool. Not we're all cool. But we've had prison labor for a long time. People that go to jail in this country are expected to work for pennies on the dollar, no money. They make no money, and they will do things, prison labor. But we don't like child labor. We got queasy about the idea of kids working. You got your working papers when I grew up at 15. I think it should be earlier. I think young people should be allowed to work. Now, I know everyone's going to go, oh, ha, 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 ha. funny, 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 funny. What are they going to do? What are these kids going to do? They have nothing to do except what you're watching, okay? They do not play sports. They don't. When have you seen a bunch of kids playing sports out recently? You haven't. It doesn't happen. They're not doing it. You don't see children riding bikes. You don't see them playing sports. You know why? Because they're either at home, on the dark web, or they're somewhere raping and killing a disabled person. That's what they're doing. Okay? What's that thing that used to put around the leg and used to do the, it'd go around like that? Get it up. Show them what kids used to do. Show them what children used to do. This is what you used to see children do in our country. You would drive by a neighborhood, you'd go visit your buddy, and yeah, what was this called? It's the skip thing. Skip it. Get someone up doing skip it. I want people to see what children used to do. And then they said, children, yeah, see? Skip it.
For my kids. These now come with a 3-digit display that counts the number of spins, calories, and exercise time.
Now they're talking about calories. What is this, for fat kids? Get this out of here. Here's my point. Children used to play sports. They used to amuse themselves. They used to be able to, yes, there was always fights. People always did horrible things. There were always car accidents. There were always, whatever. But let me tell you something. If you travel around the country, as I do, you notice that children are no longer engaged in any type of productive activity. Usually they're huddled around a supermarket or something looking for someone to kill. Truly, most children now don't feel anything when they watch someone die in front of them because they've seen it so many times online and they're desensitized and they don't know the difference between people getting killed and just a video game. Their lives are a video game. I can't say enough about Morgan & Morgan Law Firm. It's America's largest personal injury law firm, and one of the greatest things about them is their fee is free unless they win. Think about that. So basically, you're not coming out of pocket for anything unless they win, and they've earned over $30 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. In Florida, Morgan & Morgan secured a $644 million verdict for a client after the defense argued the victim and his wife should receive nothing. I'm telling you guys, the best part about Morgan & Morgan is that they have 1,000 lawyers, right? Yeah, more. They have more than 1,000 lawyers, and their fee is free unless they recover a settlement for you. Go to forthepeople.com/TIM or dial pound law from your phone. That's forthepeople.com/Jim or dial pound law from your phone. If your loved one is ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. To learn more, go to forthepeople.com/Jim or click the link in the description below. This is a paid advertisement. So what we have to do is really start thinking about what we're going to do with these children because they need to basically have their day filled with activities. Now, and I'm against what Peter Thiel's going to want to do, but Peter Thiel's going to come in here and he's going to go, hey, residents of Newport Beach. Alex Karp will come in. They go, hey, everyone, we're Palantir. Hey, residents of Newport Beach, are your kids fucking up? Are they doing a flash mob? Have they looted a grocery store? Have they killed someone? We're going to monitor everything and everybody, and that's where we're headed. We're headed to that society, the flock cameras, all that stuff. We're heading to that society, and most people are going to go along with it. You know why? Because they're going to go, I don't want my home invaded. I don't want my car broken into. I can't afford it. A lot of people out there go, hey, I can't afford if my car gets broken into. I remember Seth Rogen got in trouble because he's like, hey, man, or I forget who got in trouble. I think somebody was complaining about their car getting broken into in L.A., and I believe Seth Rogen said, like, hey, man, that's just what it is. You living in L.A., shit happens. And then people started dunking on Seth Rogen because they were like, oh, yeah, you're a millionaire and you don't understand that, like, a lot of people can't afford to have their cars broken into. Am I kind of right about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Seth Rogen, very talented guy, but is probably somewhere in a mansion high and going like, hey, it's L.A., bro. Like, fucking people breaking your car. But there's a lot of people out there. Now, I don't know if the person complaining about this was one of those people. I forget who it was. Who was it that complained? Do you know? Was it a random person?
I think it was just random people online.
Yeah, so it might be a random person who cannot afford to have their car broken into. There's people out there in that position. And then everybody laughs it off and goes, well, bro, you're in L.A. That's what happens. Your car got broken. And they go, yeah, I can't afford to fix it. I'm fucked. So in a society like that, people are going to say, hey, man, I don't want the flash mob. Yeah, Seth Rogen says having your car broken into is part of living in a big city. That was in 2021. Water under the bridge here. But what I'm saying about that is, like, people out there are going, hey, man, I want my kid monitored. I don't want my kid to be one of these people on a beach. I don't want to have my car broken into, my house broken into. And you can see, you can feel how quickly we are going to start adopting the big tech solutions to these problems. Because they're not, by the way, is it an accident? What is it doing? Don't eat the wire. It's fine. Is it an, did I kick it? Did I kick you by mistake? Is it an accident that the cops look so retarded? The cops look retarded. Every video you see, a cop is being thrown to the ground, or they're marching in like this weird fucking, like, it looks like the Nazis and the Producers, the Broadway show, like the gay Nazi march. Or they're coming in on horseback and they just look like now I'm not throwing shade on the cops. I'm simply saying they look retarded. And it seems to be that they're not super effective. And is that an accident? Or if I owned a tech company that specialized in surveillance or something like that, let me tell you what I would be doing right now. Salivating. I'd be salivating because I'd be like, look at all of these problems. Look at all of these social ills. And then when they send the cops in, they can't handle it. And you always see a video of a cop getting like beaten up by 3 14-year-olds. You know who's not going to get beaten up by 14-year-olds? Palantir's accountability bot. That's not. Because basically they're going to go, listen, we're going to put policing in the hands of the machines. That's coming. It is coming. You can feel it coming. We've talked about it before on this show. And all of these things that are happening now are a precursor to that. Like it's like the most obvious thing in the world. You see a bunch of kids on a beach causing havoc, burning things, firework, illegal shit, starting fights, and then a bunch of cops going on horseback. And it's like, now I know the cops eventually got it under control, but they look so silly. Now imagine a big Palantir spider came, like a big, think about, and I even think, and I'm against it, but I'm even just the cool factor of that. It's Newport Beach. There's a bunch of kids running around the beach again. A big, like, Palantir robot spider was on the beach. It's coming, and it will be cool. It's going to be cool. That's the problem. Like, I'm even kind of excited thinking about the types of things that you will see. Like, you'll see these robot dogs right on the beach, those Boston Dynamics things. You're going to see that stuff, and I'm telling you right now, you're going to be so sick of disorder, and you're going to be so sick of crime and vandalism and everything looking like shit. You're going to just say to yourself, you know what? That was pretty fucking cool. We watched Palantir's robot dogs storm Newport Beach and fuck up a bunch of kids. And that'll be the entertainment. Nothing will compete with that. There's no reality show that will compete with watching robots kill your fellow citizens. That is the final level of entertainment in this country. Mark my words, it will happen. When they start releasing the robots on the civilian, because we're not united as a country. We're like the most disunited thing ever. Not ever, but we're pretty fucking disunited. So when they start releasing robots on people, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be good viewing. You're going to watch it. Honey, come here. Get nice little bowls of ice cream, and you watch robots attack your fellow citizens and their children. We're going to watch robots kill children, paralyze children. Palantir robots will soon be paralyzing children, and we won't care because that's how fed up we'll be. There'll be children in wheelchairs, and it's going to be okay. It'll be okay. We won't care. And this is what happens when you let shit get so out of control. I'm not saying we're there yet, by the way. I'm not being an alarmist just saying we're there yet. I'm saying it is coming. Down the road, you can't get control of these cities. You can't get control of young people. You can't get the boomers. The boomers still got that money. And by the way, I don't want to be for it. I don't want to be for it. But if I'm watching Newport Beach and Palantir has this big robot spider that just comes on the beach and through its eyes starts laser beaming, and the beams aren't fatal, but it's scaring the kids. And then here's what'll happen. Eventually, the kids will know the blue beams that the Palantir spider shoots aren't deadly. And they'll be filming the blue beams. The blue beams out of the eyes will be fine. And the kids are still going to be filming the spider go, whoa, you're going to have to kill some of them. The red beams are going to cook the kids. The blue beam's the warning beam. The red beam that comes out of the Palantir spider, that's going to kill the kids. That's going to cook someone's leg immediately. Someone goes down. And then the rest of them scamper away. And I don't want that, but I would watch it. I would share it. And I would say it's sad that it's come to this. And people will say that in our country. When robot dogs respond to these things and do what must be done, people are going to go, it's sad that it's come to this. It's sad that it's come to this. But let's be honest about a lot of our police. Not all of them. A lot of our police are out of shape, okay? A lot of them are very scared about losing their livelihoods if they respond in the wrong way or if they're filmed. And I'm not a guy that thinks police should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. I'm a guy that believes police should be trained and accountable. I believe all of that stuff, right? But what I'm trying to say is just letting you know that the police right now in some jurisdictions feel a little bit like, let it get bad. Let it happen. This is what some cops are saying. Everyone hates us. Fuck them. We won't respond. We'll just kind of hang back. And when they finally do respond, it like seems clumsy. A lot of times they don't seem to know what they're doing. They're getting beaten by children. The Palantir robot animals that will respond to these will be so sleek and sexy, and they will kill your children. But you're going to enjoy it. You're going to watch it, and you're going to be in awe and impressed by the technology. You're going to be impressed by the technology. You're going to go, that's pretty damn impressive. Hey, they're going to interview a parent after one of their children gets killed, and the parent's going to say, I'm very sad that my son Gregory is no longer with us. I'm a father, and he was my only son. And I've watched that video many times, and one thing that strikes me is the level of technology and precision. It's unbelievable. Gregory would have appreciated this, and I hope in his final moments he did. Gregory loved technology. He loved Elon Musk. He loved rockets. And even though the Palantir spider that stormed the beach to break up the melee ended Gregory's life with a beam, just the thought of my son standing there in awe of that technology that he had loved so much. And, of course, I'm sorry, and I wish he was here with us now, but we'll always have that memory of him in his final moments, because it will be on camera, you know, the kid being like, whoa, and then the laser will get him. So that's what we're coming to, and I'm sorry if you're not with that. You're going to enjoy it more than you think you will. I love Helix. Everyone who comes and stays with me says, you know, your Helix mattresses are some of the greatest mattresses ever. I say, well, not only are they the best mattresses ever, they have free shipping and seamless delivery. They have a 120-night free sleep trial and a limited lifetime warranty. The Happy with Helix guarantee. They're award-winning. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Helix is the greatest mattress brand in our country. By the way, it also coincidentally happens to be the easiest to shop for. Okay, so I'll tell you this right now. This is the, are we in the primetime sale or the 4th of July extended?
The primetime sale.
We're in the prime time. It's 20% off site-wide, 25% off Lux mattresses, 30% off Elite mattresses. How cool is that? HelixSleep.com/TimD. HelixSleep.com/TimD. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout just so they know we sent you. HelixSleep.com/TimD. Neuro Gum. This is the gum that I chew when I want focus, okay? What makes Neuro Energy and Focus smart? It's powered by natural caffeine, L-theanine, for calm focus, vitamins B12 and B6. Neuro just dropped their new Energy and Focus Mint Variety Pack. So can't decide on which flower to try? Try them all. Peppermint, spearmint, wintergreen. So leave the dumb stuff behind and make the switch to smart gum and mints. No sugar, no aspartame, no crash, which means I don't feel like I need to apologize to my body afterwards. It's clean, effective, and has better ingredients. Neuro's Memory and Focus Gum is made with American ginseng to support mental clarity minus the jitters. How cool is that? For a limited time, you can get 20% off your first order at neurogum.com by using code TIM. That's neurogum.com. Use code TIM for 20% off your first order. You can also find Neuro at CVS and Amazon. Netanyahu says Turkey is not a friendly state. Netanyahu really is starting to become the guy at the party who's a real bummer. I'm telling you that right now. He's becoming a little bit of a bummer. Have you ever had one of your friends that hates every person? It becomes difficult. They're like, don't invite her. She sucks. Oh, don't invite him. That guy? Ugh. Or you'll be like, hey, maybe we should invite this person. And they'll be like, random. That's pretty random. And eventually you're like, you know what? Maybe you're the fucking problem. Maybe you're the fucking problem. Maybe we don't need you. Netanyahu's out there going, Turkey's a NATO country. We can't fight Turkey. We're losing to Iran. So when Netanyahu goes, Turkey's not a friendly state, and we're going to play him saying this in a minute, he's basically saying they're next. Turkey's not a friendly state in Netanyahu speak is, and coming up next, it's like a daytime talk show host, and coming up next, we have Turkey. Like, he's itching. And he's telling Dana Basher at CNN that he thinks Turkey is not friendly, and he does not like, I believe we're selling them F-35 fighter jets, right? Yeah. So he doesn't like that. He goes, why would you be selling them? Now, by the way, why would you care if we're selling Turkey fighter jets unless you wanted to go to a war with them at some point in the future? You imagine Turkey's going to go to war with you with the fighter jets? Or is it more likely that you might be thinking about going to war with them down the road? Anyway, Benjamin Netanyahu, friend of the show, describing his feelings towards Turkey.
President Trump is in Turkey right now. He said this morning he will consider selling F-35 fighter jets to Turkey, which is a reversal of a ban he put in place. You said yesterday that would, quote, upset the power balance in the Middle East. Have you made that clear to President Trump?
Yes, I have. Actually, spoke to him several times about it. And I think that everybody understands that notwithstanding the personal friendship that President Trump has with Erdogan, it doesn't make Turkey a friendly or a friendly state to the United States. To the contrary, it's a regime that's infected with the Muslim Brotherhood, which hates the United States.
Who cares? This is the chick at the party that is like bumming you out. She's like, remember when like they were all talking shit about you 2 years ago? You go, hey man, life's too short. Who cares if the Muslim Brotherhood hates the United States? We're a nuclear nation with a border. We're surrounded by water. We've got trillions of dollars, invested in our death machine, which isn't working against Iran. But at the end of the day, it's like, who cares? And why does the Muslim Brotherhood not like the United States? I'm sure there's many reasons, by the way. I'm no fan of the Muslim Brotherhood. The name is kind of fun, but that's just the name. I'm not a fan of an Islamic America, by the way, at all, in any way. I'm a fan of an American America where we can make fun of religion if we want and make fun of our government if we want. And women are respected and gay people are respected. In a lot of Muslim countries, that's not the case. And the idiots in the DSA who are supposedly for a lot of those things seem to not realize that. And some people on the far right don't realize that either because they're so mad at Israel that they forget that in a lot of those countries, criticizing the government is not allowed. A comedian just got jailed for a joke in Turkey. I'm not a guy who's like, hey, Turkey's great. But why do we have to constantly look at the world as you're our enemy or our ally? What a weird way to look at the world. By the way, that's not the way anyone looks at anything. Most people are not your enemy or your ally. Most people are just around you to a degree. That's the way life is lived. You're like, this is my best friend. And maybe you have an enemy or someone you really hate. But then then you have your wife or your kids, your husband, your dog, your cat, whatever. But then most people are just there. Turkey to me is just there. It's there. It has beautiful historic sites. It's history, whatever. There's a lot of things. I have friends that have gone there. I have friends that I don't agree with a lot of Turkey's policies. I wouldn't want to live in Turkey. Again, I wouldn't want to live in Russia. I don't want to live in Mexico. Sorry, I think Mexico City is an amazing city. I just don't want to live there. Like, this idea that someone has to be our enemy because the Muslim Brotherhood hates the United States and would like to destroy it. Everyone would like something they can't have. This idea that Turkey is somehow a antagonist of the United States of America and that they're a threat to us in some way and they're infected with people who dislike us and we have to, this has nothing to do with us. It's very clear it's not about America. It's not about America doing well. You know, this idea that we have to defeat every ideology we disagree with is a fucking insane thing. That would be like if you walked into work every day and you're like, I'm going to straighten everyone out here. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. It doesn't matter if you have the most money. It doesn't matter if you're the top producer or whatever the hell we think we are in this office scenario. You still can't walk in every day and go, I'm straightening everybody else out. You disagree with me? Fuck you. You do your own thing. You don't focus on them. You ignore them. They're irrelevant. They don't matter. They're not threatening you. They're not corrupting your culture in any meaningful way. All of this is crazy. This idea that, like, we have to care what the Muslim Brotherhood says about us is insane. Are we afraid of them? Are we afraid of them? Why did we spend all the money on nukes if we're so afraid of all these terrorist groups in all these countries, by the way, that we can't beat because dinged we create? Wink, wink. That's why we can't beat them, because we create them. Interesting how that works. You give birth to something, it's actually harder to beat. Isn't that odd? And you create them overtly, maybe through intelligence agencies, and you create them somewhat unwittingly, inevitably, by your actions in their countries. And you radicalize people, and it becomes a breeding ground. You know, and not to say the ones that we like directly are, not to say anything about the ones we're directly hiring. Iran hatched fresh plot to kill Trump, Israel told U.S. Israel recently shared new intelligence with the U.S. that it shows Iran was considering new plan to assassinate the president. I mean, I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore if it's very difficult at this point to really even comment on what I consider to be just kind of like insane like ramblings. And I just don't, when you start saying that like this country, they are infected by the Muslim Brotherhood, they are infected by people that don't like you, and then what? And so what? And then what? Like, I'm sure there's elements in the Iranian government that would love to get rid of Trump, but let's be honest. If you're Iran, are you thinking right now we'd love to whack the president of the United States? Would that make a lot of sense? They can get nuked. Someone will do that. Someone will go insane if they assassinate the president. So I don't know. Does it seem like they are? Now, maybe they are. I don't know. I'm sure some elements of that government, hardliners, religious hardliners that don't care about what happens, and they're going to paradise anyway. Maybe they do. But realistically, is that a move right now, is to assassinate the president of the United States? Didn't we have a deal with them a month ago? Didn't we have a deal with them a month ago? And now they're going to assassinate the president? Israel said that? We're in a doom loop with this war. What that means is there's nowhere to go here. Israel doesn't want the war to end. The American people are fed up with it and do want it to end. A lot of Israelis are fed up with it and want it to end. But Ukraine hasn't had an election. Israel hasn't had an election. All these countries are not having elections, and the longer they're in wars, I'm not necessarily blaming the Ukraine, but I am saying the democratic process in these countries is completely frozen while they're in conflict. And if these conflicts were to continue, there would be no election and there would be no democratic process. And one wonders if that's part of the reason that, you know, this continues as long as it does. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons, right? But I mean, we got to move on for this. It's bad energy. Bad juju. And I didn't say juju. I went juju. That's a different, I didn't say, that's a different expression. But that's what I mean. There's bad energy. It's a weird energy that abounds right now in mid-July, in the summer. I've been noticing that. It's kind of an odd energy. There's fun to be had for sure. Iran definitely has chemical weapons despite nuclear setbacks, Netanyahu warns. Now we're doing chemical weapons. This is literally 2003 Iraq. But it's the chemical, it's biological weapons. Soon it's going to be they have EMP, electromagnetic pulse weapons. Then it's going to be they're causing the flash mobs. They're having your children storm Newport Beach. They're doing it. It's them. They looted that grocery store in Newport Beach. It's a little silly. It's not, this can't go on like this. There's no way that this can go on. I mean, he said Iran has lost its capability to produce nuclear weapons during Operation Roaring Lion, adding that the U.S. and Israeli strikes had pushed it back considerably. Okay, cool, we're done. We're done. But then he goes, Iran possesses chemical weapons. I mean, this is hilarious. Get this up. Let's watch it. I mean, this is genuinely funny. This is genuinely now become comical.
Earlier, I spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Prime Minister, nice to talk to you again, sir.
Good to talk to you, Greta.
Mr. Prime Minister, President Trump is in Turkey at the NATO summit, meeting with President Erdogan today, and there's discussion about selling F-35s to Turkey. What does that impact on Israel, if any?
I think it's a mistake because Erdogan has a regime that threatens Greece, a NATO partner, occupies half of Cyprus, a NATO partner, and frankly, openly calls for Israel's destruction. His number two a few days ago said, the Jewish state has no place among the nations. You know what you have to do to remove it from its place among the nations. His number three, the interior minister, says he's looking forward to the day that he will govern Jerusalem. So these people are talking about annihilating my country. He's put more journalists in jail than I think any other regime in the world. He puts his opponents in jail. He is infected completely by the Muslim Brotherhood movement, which hates America and chants death to America. That's from the other side. You know?
Enough with the chanting. Everyone's chanting. This is crazy. He's like, they're chanting. They chant. Let's start a war with them. They're chanting. And as for all these people in Turkey that keep talking shit and popping shit, there's people in Israel that say crazy shit. Smotrich, Ben Gvir, they say crazy shit. Their rhetoric is insanely genocidal. The Soviet Union in America, all there was shit talk for years. And then obviously there was a Cold War, but we never had a nuclear exchange with the Soviet Union. And we didn't go into like a hot war with them. We had proxy wars. But there was no like showdown. So this idea that like, yeah, there's the interior ministers that pop shit. These people are going to talk shit. This is what they do. And he knows this. This isn't new. This is the way to keep your people entertained in a lot of those countries. You come out and you're like, fuck America, fuck Israel. And people are like, yeah. And then you don't address their concerns. It's like when people come out here and they're like, Putin and Russia, that's a way for us to go, right, Russia, that's who it is. That's the problem. And he knows this, but I want to hear this chemical weapons thing. I guess this is coming up. I'm sure this is, okay, here we go. Here we go. They definitely have chemical weapons. It's my favorite thing. They definitely have chemical weapons, and they're coming to Nantucket with their chemical weapons. That's where they're going. They're coming to Nantucket, and they're going to use sarin gas on your kids. I mean, it's kind of fun. It's actually become funny. Yeah.
Frightens me and that nobody ever talks about. Maybe this doesn't involve Iran or not, but it's biological and chemical weapons. Does Iran have biological and chemical weapons in their supply?
They definitely have.
By the way, this is how, stop it for a minute. This is how this works, because she tosses him a softball. So out of nowhere, Greta Van Susteren, who's on the air, by the way, during Iraq, Greta Van Susteren decides to ask Netanyahu, by the way, apropos of nothing, just because it's in her head. She goes, by the way, she's like, not that anyone's in my ear telling me to say this, but she's like, you know what really keeps me up at night? Biological and chemical weapons. By the way, let me tell you something. Unless you're like somebody who's worked on biological and chemical weapons, no one has been kept up by biological and chemical, unless you have a psychological disorder. There's so many things in our country to worry about. Weird ways to die, whatever. Being broke that people worry about all day. Going into debt, all these things people worry about. No one lays in bed at night thinking about biological and chemical weapons. Unless you have a psychological disorder. A doctor, please, I want to hear her ask that question again, because if you went to a therapist and said, I've been thinking a lot about biological and chemical weapons, he'd go, oh, I think we should get you on medication. Something's off. Let's listen to Greta again ask this totally unprompted question to Netanyahu.
Yeah, there's always the talk about the nuclear weapons. The thing that always frightens me and that nobody ever talks about.
Okay, stop for a minute. It's great. She sounds like a crazy. It sounds like my mother. My mother was a schizophrenic. This is the way schizophrenics talk. By the way, they go, you know what scares me and that nobody ever talks about? Biological and chemical weapons. This is such a funny question to ask a guy who's already, number one, he's immediately ready to answer the question. He loves the question, and he probably knows it's going to be asked because they submitted a list of questions to ask him to her. But this idea that apropos of nothing, this woman is being kept up at night by biological and chemical weapons. But all right, let's listen to Netanyahu speak.
Iran or not, but it's biological and chemical weapons. Does Iran have biological and chemical weapons in their supply?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
They definitely have chemical weapons.
Yep.
That I can tell you.
That's right.
And that is another danger that they pose. Understand, this is a regime that has, there are about 90 million people in Iran, and the vast majority, like 80%, hate this regime. It's they basically consider it theological thugs who took over the country and hold them at gunpoint. In fact, they shoot them. They murdered and maimed over 40,000 Iranians who are praying for their liberty. So you could see that this regime that doesn't care about murdering its own citizens, when they chant death to the United States,
again with the chanting,
they have no compunction about using these weapons.
Right. All right. So that's what they're going to do when they chant. They're going to chant the chemical weapons into the country, by the way, with the chanting. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. He's like, you hear what they chant? By the way, you know what they chant at, like, soccer games? They chant all kinds of, is this the standard of proof now? Is that the line that can't be crossed, is chanting death to America? What do you mean we can't handle death to America? We can't handle people chanting death to America? I take more shit on that in comments. This is crazy. And so does anyone who's on the internet. This is what we're doing today. They chanted death to America. I mean, you imagine your kid dies in Iran and you're telling someone about it. You go, yeah, it was a tough loss, but they were chanting death to America. We had to show them you can't do that. You can't do that. So I know my kid's dead, but, no more chanting. What do you think they're going to chant now? By the way, if you wanted to eliminate their chanting, if that was the goal, what do you think killing their spiritual leader did? You think they chanted after that? I don't know. What would be a good place to chant? I don't know. A large state funeral of a spiritual leader that we whacked day one of the war? I bet there's some chants getting going. It's almost like you want the chants. Mint Mobile. I mean, we're all switching to Mint Mobile, aren't we? Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless. It made it right with premium wireless for $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your current phone and number. Choose from 3, 6, or 12 months plans. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile. It's so easy to sign up online and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Tim Dillon. That's mintmobile.com/Tim Dillon. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. Mintmobile.com/Tim Dillon. That's if there's no catch. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, $180 for 12 months. Plan required $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Includes up to 20 gigabytes hotspot. Capable device. Required availability, speed, coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. I'm so fascinated by what Superpower is doing. It's one simple blood draw that gives you information on over 100 of your blood biomarkers. Your annual physical checks 10 to 15. By comparison, this testing gives you a much deeper understanding of your body across 17 core systems, including heart, metabolism, thyroid, inflammation, and environmental toxin. Superpower makes health easy. They send a licensed professional to your home, or you can visit a nearby lab. Tell us how excited you are to have Superpower's actionable health protocol based on your results. All right, well, I will tell you that. Supplement recommendations and prescription suggestions can be directly bought through Superpower, though you don't have to go anywhere else. You get your biological age. I'm telling you right now, folks, it's great. Figure out what's going on in there. The blood is great. You figure out what's happening in the blood. It tells you all the stories, right? Tells you the tales. Don't you want to know the reality of it all? That's the situation, isn't it? Superpower doesn't just give you a one-time snapshot. It tracks your results over your lifetime. Each test builds on the last. You can see progress over time. In the future, we're going to laugh about how our healthcare is all related to problems that occur. Superpower is here to make proactive healthcare a reality and accessible to everyone. For example, I took him to the vet because he wouldn't eat his breakfast. But the vet said that he was just playing with me. He started eating the vet immediately, and the vet said that he hated me because he thought I was an Irish pig. Take control of your health with Superpower. For a limited time, our listeners get $20 off. Take control of your health with Superpower. For a limited time, our listeners get $20 off to unlock their new health intelligence. Head over to superpower.com. Use code TIM for $20 off your $199 Superpower membership. After you sign up, they'll ask you how you heard about Superpower. Tell them Tim Dillon sent you to support the show. All right. Let's go into this. Social media trend causing kids squishing toys to explode. I don't know anything about this, but let's see what it is, because as we've covered earlier in our show, young people are a threat to the stability of our country, and we need to figure out how to get them to work, put them in a job where they are accountable. We need not be giving them the freedom we give them. Put them in a job. Even at 14-year-olds should be selling life insurance. I'm not kidding, long-term care insurance. They should be in offices with suits on, and they should be working instead of on a beach trying to fucking go viral for killing someone.
Chocolate? It's the squishy stress toy that surged in popularity, found on store shelves across America. They're marketed as harmless, sensory gadgets, but these goo-like toys are now at the center of a dangerous viral trend. Reports of videos online encouraging children to heat or microwave the gel-filled toys to make them more pliable. But once heated, medical professionals say the gel inside becomes a hot, glue-like substance. Something Katie Spence's 13-year-old daughter discovered after leaving her toy called a Neato in their hot car.
She squeezed it once and it popped on her. She was screaming, get it off me, get it off. And I didn't know what it was initially.
Spence says weeks later, her daughter is still recovering from her injuries.
It's like I couldn't even...
Pause it for a second. Do you know where the cat is?
No.
Psst, psst, psst. Meow. Oh, shit, it's behind me. All right. Viral trend allegedly. So wait a minute. What are they doing with this trend? Can you explain this to me?
They're putting the toy in the microwave.
Why are they doing that?
They say that when you heat it, it becomes more pliable.
Let me tell you right now. We're at a point now where the elites are basically, they almost have all the evidence they need to just kill us. You know what I mean? Like, we're at that point now where it's almost like the evidence is rolling in at a breakneck pace, and they almost have all the evidence they need to just do a clean sweep of this planet. The kids' squishy toys get more pliable in the microwave? Continue this, please.
I didn't do anything, I couldn't do anything to help her besides literally rush her to the hospital.
A similar story earlier this year for Caleb Shabala, whose mom says he had burns on his face.
What the
his
fuck?
eyes swelling shut.
Bro,
after she
pause that. What the fuck? What the fuck? Look at this kid. What? Keep going.
Put his Neato in the microwave.
I didn't know it was a trend on TikTok before.
Yes, you did, you
liar.
liar.
My friend did it before, but she put it in for, she didn't get hurt.
Shriners Children's Boston nurse practitioner Jill Pachuco says they've seen a dramatic spike in cases over the last 6 months, and that some of the injuries are serious.
What are some of these children needing after this gel-like substance gets on their skin?
Yeah, so some of these kids have required hospitalization for a day or two after the injury, depending on where the injuries have occurred.
Neato is one of the most popular brands of these sensory toys. Its maker, Boston-based Shilling Toys, warns cubes should not be left in cars or direct sun. In a statement to NBC News, the company says in part, "We are disappointed to see that there has been a trend on social media demonstrating misuse of our Neato products," and say they're working with social media companies.
So here's what this is. Our children are all fat little pigs who are riddled with anxiety, and they squeeze these toys all day, and it's disgusting. Our children used to be like playing sports or doing other things, running around, swimming, climbing a tree. They sit around now because they're little balls of fucking orbs of flesh, these fat little pigs. And they sit there and they're just riddled with anxiety and they squeeze these little Neato things. This is disgusting. What age are these for?
Probably like 7 to 14 or something.
14?
Maybe 12.
Whatever. It's too old. This shouldn't be happening at all, I don't think. Maybe when you're a baby or something, but they squeeze these. They squeeze these things. It's insane. And they're putting them in the microwave because they're easier to squeeze, because they don't have energy in their little hand, their little paw, their little mitt. Because of all the fucking drugs we put them on, the pills we give them to just stay alive. They're crashing so hard from some weird like Go-Gurt and fucking Zoloft binge they've been on. They need a softer squish toy, and it's blowing up in their face, and it's rotting their skin and blinding them. I mean, am I missing it? That's kind of the story. Well, that's disgusting. That's a really disgusting thing that we're doing. We're just doing really disgusting things now. And they're hurting people. People are getting hurt. That kid's face exploded because he had that hot fucking plastic. And he's a liar. Play what he said again where he didn't know it was a trend on TikTok. He's full of shit.
After she says he put his Neato in the microwave.
I didn't know it was a trend on TikTok.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, you liar.
My friend did it before, but...
Why did he do
put
it?
in for,
Because it was a trend on TikTok.
like,
Get him out of here. He's a liar. He's a liar. He's a liar. Charlie Kirk's trial. Let's end with that. I haven't watched much of it. Some people are saying, well, the conspiracies are being laid to rest, but some people are saying that there's actually a lot of weird, inconclusive evidence. Cameras not working. Things. Ray brought up a good point the other day. Why is Lance Twiggs just diming on Tyler Robinson like that? What's that about? Lance Twiggs wasn't there. I don't have time to go through the whole Charlie Kirk thing. I don't really know a ton about it. But so they can match the bullet fragments in Kirk to Tyler Robinson's rifle. What are we even doing here? No weapon, no witnesses, no case. That's somebody saying that. Might be true. The cat has disappeared again. Oh, there it is. Come back. Let's watch this. This is Lance Twiggs saying, Tyler said he regretted killing Charlie Kirk.
So he acted erratically. Was he pacing? Was he just sitting down, relaxing?
No, he was walking around a lot.
Right, and that's within the home.
Mm-hmm.
Did Lance Twiggs detransition for this? Right? Isn't that kind of the vibe? Lance Twiggs kind of looks like a hot frat guy now. But wasn't Lance Twiggs kind of a furry? But Lance Twiggs is kind of like, yeah, he was like walking around. He's like walking around. Is Lance Twiggs about to have the glow up of the century right now? Is that what's about to happen? Is everyone going to be fapping to Lance Twiggs now? Continue.
Did he talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. I started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it, and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
Okay. Well, that's Lance Twiggs, who's testifying for the prosecution that Charlie Kirk did it. No. Sorry. It's late. We usually record early. What's his name? Tyler Robinson did it. It's fishy to me. The whole thing's fishy. It's always been fishy. I found it fishy, and I know a lot of people have attacked Candace and said she's a nut, but, I got to be honest with you. I found a lot of the things that Candace has raised to be valid, and I think a lot of people I know that are really smart people think this is really a weird case. And, I'm not saying that the kid didn't do it. I'm not saying Tyler Robinson didn't do it. I'm not saying that. But the circumstances of who he is and why he did it and all that stuff, we just don't feel like we're getting the full story. It feels like we're getting fragments of a story. And I'm not saying that it is incorrect, but I'm saying that we kind of lack information. There's holes in the story. And is that kind of your feeling a little bit? There seems to be holes in it. It does seem to not line up as nicely as they would like it to. It's being presented as here's the thing. Whenever somebody says case closed, it's usually not somebody who is saying that because they want to share information, or they're not in a deep search for the truth. Usually, not always, but usually when somebody's case closed, that means the matter's been settled. Shut your mouth. Stop asking questions. We don't want to answer any of these things. I just find with this, I come from I remember a time when the media was all over these people's families. We knew everything about them. We watched the O.J. Simpson trial for an entire year. We knew everything about the Menendez brothers. We knew everything about Lacey Peterson. We knew everything about all of these cases. We don't know a ton about this. We know nothing about Butler, almost nothing. We don't know a ton about this case. We don't know, again, a lot about the guy who ran into the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Remember that? We don't know about that. We don't know about all this stuff. We know a little bit. There's a little bit. They introduced someone yeah, it's a teacher. And they just went nuts. You're okay. But the media interest in all of this stuff, it used to be huge. It used to be very, very, they were indefatigable. You could not pull the media off these people. Now people are going to go, well, there's cases. They don't want to jeopardize the jury pool. It's the fucking media. They don't care. They want views. They want clicks. Weren't there juries back then? Right? Weren't the same questions there about what's appropriate for people to hear in the case and, the integrity of the case? And it seems like the media is being guided on these stories, the traditional media, in a way that leaves chunks of them out. So I don't know who killed Charlie. I am unaware of all the nuts and bolts of the case. I will say instinctually, I feel like something's weirdly off, and I don't know what that thing is. And I can't isolate it. I don't have it, and I could be wrong. But I've talked to some very smart people, and they're divided on it. Some of them go, we think that's the way it is. A lot of them go, no, I think it's weird. And I kind of line up, the cat, and I kind of line up in the I think it's weird camp. But we don't know. But it's not fun, this trial. Trials used to be fun. And listen, R.I.P. to Charlie Kirk. I'm not saying death is ever fun. Trials used to be fun and silly and wacky. And now it's first of all, why aren't they in a courtroom? Why is this all these weird depositions that are happening? When I grew up, you would watch OJ. There was a courtroom that was on all fucking day. It was amazing. Judge Lance Ito, Marsha Cross, Johnny Cochran, Bob Shapiro, the Christopher Darden, Marsha Cross's, ADA assistant, whatever. Listen, this was a real case. Cato Kalin, Al Cowlings. Who was the other guy that got beheaded? Nicole Brown Simpson, that other guy. Ron Goldman, his family, the Goldman family. He was a waiter at Brentwood Restaurant in Mezzaluna, and this was my whole childhood. My entire childhood was this trial. My family loved it. We were so happy when it was on. Oh, my God, it was so fun. All the characters, the cast of characters. Robert Kardashian. Name sound familiar? There was a cast of characters, and it was fun. Oh, my God, this one isn't fun. This one isn't fun. This one seems, I don't know. But the OJ one, they were kind of letting it all hang out. They were exploring every weird theory. They were like, well, the ice cream didn't melt. There was something called the ice cream theory. There was the glove clip. There was all of that. Here it is. He's trying on the glove. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. They had a theory about ice cream, how the ice cream hadn't melted, and so the killer couldn't have done it in the time, and everything was in the open in public. And it didn't matter how wacky the theories were. This guy was on trial for his life, for a crime he clearly committed. But, and I'm not even a hater of OJ. I was on Stavros' show. I said if I saw OJ, I'd be like, hey, big fan, because he was in The Naked Gun. And again, that trial was a big part of my childhood. And R.I.P. OJ. But this trial doesn't feel like that. Can you get it and then just bring it to the desk so it can say goodbye? It wants to say goodbye to the people. Thank you. It wants to say goodbye to the people. Everyone's asked for it. Everyone's asked for it to come on. Everyone's wanted to meet it. Everyone's really been excited about it. And listen, we hope everyone gets peace over there. The Kirk family, Erica, the whole thing, the whole deal. Really, I'm hoping that it's all okay. I hope that justice is served, whatever that means. I hope that Iran is chill, because they're out of their fucking mind, and so are we. So is Israel. Everybody's got to calm it down. Everybody's got to calm it down. And, at the end of the day, it's we're all just doing our best. Isn't that what it feels like? That we're all just doing our best out there? Isn't that what it seems like? We're all just doing our best. We're all just doing our best. We're all doing our best. The cat's playing with the lobster. He's great. He was $2,900. And I got him in Brooklyn. A Russian. Well, anyway, I hope that the kids stop putting their squishy toys in microwaves and blowing their fat little faces up. This country's a disgusting hell. It really is. And I hope that they find a way to get those kids off that beach in Newport Beach. I fucking like Newport Beach, by the way. It's one of the great towns in our country. There's only a few of them left. It's a great fucking town. I go there sometimes. I just take a nap in their Restoration Hardware. It's beautiful. Just look at the Pacific Ocean. If you're ever really fucked up in life, just take a nap at the Newport Beach Restoration Hardware, and they can't really stop you. And when you wake up, just go, I want a table or something. All right. So for me and Albert, this is his name, Albert, we say goodbye. Good luck. And we'll see you next week.